But I'm seeing some good collaboration energy. I'm seeing guys coming in and they are greeting each other with energy and all that. So I believe we've gotten some good collaboration amongst ourselves. So the head of department is going to speak mainly about the whole program. I'm just going to give a report on what we're doing and all that. So our actual practice was about 12 to 13 weeks. And we carried out a number of sessions in the different IT fields. The first week was basically about character development. Some of us are not reported, some of us are not paid, but a number of us were able to be in that week. Realized that most of the concepts we are passing through were about collaborating. We are teaching you the tools whereby you can work as a group, the Google Teams, the Google Drive. And it was a success because that week actually kind of gave a foundation for everything we've been using. And it was actually giving the whole environment that is going to help us grade. I was begging most of you guys to be involved in the collaboration, the Google Drive. But up to now, some of us do not have any footprint on any Google document in the Google Drive. I really don't know how you expect me to grade your collaboration when you've not been in any collaboration thing. I really want to mention names, but there are a number of you. So that was the first week. The second week and third week, that's when Mr. Pio came in, and we did a number of projects that we concluded in this last week. Ideally, we are supposed to give you the skills of technopreneurship, project management, how you really brainstorm something and really make sure maybe you put into action, and maybe we also give you some of the implementation plans. So we've finalized that week with a number of tool interaction, especially in the UI and UX designs. I believe the lady who was interacting with you did some good impact, and maybe the prototypes are ready for submission. Because over the weekend, I'll be collecting those links so that we do some documentation with them. Make sure the prototypes are ready, right? Week 4 and 5, that's when I came in with a computer repair, computer repair and maintenance. That was like maybe the actual start of this whole hardware thing, and maybe most of the things that any IT person should be knowing in the fields of IT. I tried to interact with you in a number of sessions. I tried to make sure that the guys who are even fearing to open up their laptops, maybe you can open it up and find out what could be wrong, so that in case anyone has any issue, you can help them in the troubleshooting. But I observed that most of the people are not interested in a number of topics. Maybe they just see you come through, and maybe they try to blow, and but at the end of the day, the participation was just not being present. We had to make sure you really master the skill. It's not just a matter of posing, and so most of you really also succeeded in that. Not like succeeding, but you really outdid yourselves and you picked a number of skills. A minute. So for the hardware, we believe you gained the skills that we are required to gain those 2 weeks. Then Mr. Agro also came in, and most of you did all those configurations, switch routers and everything. But I realized that during that week, some guys kind of gave up on a number of maybe someone was posing as a network engineer, and then they realized like it's really like it needs some observation and all that. Mr. Agre tried to talk to a number of you guys so that you really don't give up. So we are going to try to throw some light on the networking zone. Mr. Agre promised to be here. I hope maybe he comes through on time so that he also delivers something in that for that week. Then Madame Docas also delivered something via system administration, things about IP phones and everything. Still that week, what I observed, especially the ladies who were supposed to be in those sessions, you really dodged most of those classes. I don't know whether on purpose, whether you didn't have passion, and you missed the grades for that. Though at some point, I saw some people coming through for the presentations, and they posed with some knowledge. I wonder where they got it from. You got it from. There's no way you're going to just cram something for the sake of presenting it to the instructor to show that you know, but when you did not attain the skill. That's where most of you are going wrong. You will just pause, your group members do the work, then you just come through, you master, you cram whatever they have done, then they give you the freedom to go and present on behalf of their group so that you actually maybe also get something. So maybe for that time you did go through and maybe you got the grade, but either way, if you did not get the skill, you're actually going to be challenged somewhere. Then that's when we started these electives week, and most of you selected things according to the passion and maybe to the eligibility. The guy is doing URI, the URI practice. Most of you have some background in physics and mathematics. We really hope you're not just pausing. You didn't just pause there and maybe do the good feeding. You take pictures and all that. Really hope you attain the skills, because not everyone has that chance, especially via this department. Maybe you might find yourselves in a number of positions and you really maybe take it for granted. But if you look around, we've been having some other faculties doing internship, research, right? But I don't know if you observed whatever they were doing, it was kind of matching what you guys were doing, right? You realize that there was some kind of more effort and energy this side, right? So the guys at URI, those skills, please master them and you really buy good passion in that area. We also had cybersecurity, where Madam Jackie and Mr. Conrad gave through and maybe they shared. We did these intrusion tests. I saw guys downloading honeypots and all that. But still, either in that week, you realize that the collaboration is really lacking. Most of you are taking your group members for granted in some way, just because you know someone is in that group, and maybe they will be able to explain something to you later on. You just stay at the back and maybe you wait. But not until you do something by yourself, you will never get that experience. Even if someone just talks to you and all that, you really had, it was a practice. It was all about practical sessions, not just sharing knowledge and all that like theoretically, right? Then we also had guys doing data visualization and analytics. You also did some good sharing with Mr. Oslo. And the good thing, most of the facilitators were instructors you can find on ground, right? In case you really feel like maybe you need more passion and all that, feel free to interact with these people. You have their contacts, you have their emails. Do some good background research about them. Maybe as you're interacting with them, you know what to ask, right? And someone has a question? Okay, it's fine. Then that was for the electives week, and then it brought us to this week, where most of you are asking why again we are bringing up these things of project management and why you were following up on these projects. So in the first 2 weeks, you realize that most of you, like the guys who were at a good pace, at the end of the 2 weeks, you were actually able to come up with a simple prototype that you did present, but most of you didn't have prototypes. But I'm very sure at least by the end of this week, everyone has like at least what? A site prototype, right? But either way, still, via the collaboration, most of you were just leaving that sector of development and design. You just realize that maybe Absalom is good at that, then you leave all that work up to him so that maybe present something for you. A number of you really try to pull up your strings as the instructor was going through, put this button here and all that. And you're going to be challenged maybe by your final year, where maybe you're in a group, or maybe you're working on an individual project, and you did not attain this skill. And then you start paying people around campus to do for you the work. Then at the end of your 3 years, you pause as a computer scientist, right? So it really doesn't make sense for you to be given the opportunity, then at the end of the day, you again pay someone. You might actually end up paying the money, then either way you fail, right? Because if you realize the way the curriculum and the activities and the subjects in these things, they're really adjusting. You might be there maybe having a brother who graduated in a certain way, and they pose that very knowledge with you, then you feel like maybe you'll also advance with that kind of knowledge. You might reach the third year when the panels are prepared for you. They really do some kind of interrogation and make sure that project you're presenting is purely yours, right? So all the skills you've attained, make sure you really keep them going. You practice, you keep on practicing. Not just a matter that since workshop is done, you just have to pause, to sit on all those skills. Just keep on opening up these environments, practice, so that at least you get the skills. Then the last bit I would want to say, before the head of department comes in, the certification bit. However much you are good with a skill, via the IT profession, even if you present your good transcript and you have a first class, you really have to put maybe some good flowers around that transcript. Because even if you're given an interview in something via networking, at the end of the day, the human resource areas of these institutes will be asking, is that person credible enough? Does he have the certification to do that kind of work? So, and then, fortunately, I landed on a free link about some Dell certification, and I forwarded it to that group. Most of you actually just saw it as some other link. Not a certificate, but a certification. I really don't know if some of you really attempted it. And it's still open, because it was expiring last month, but the site actually pushed to the end of this month. So do these certifications and pile up your CV at least. Never know where that certification, which advantage that certification will add on to you. Am I communicating? So I really don't have a lot to say. Maybe the final bit I was really harsh on a number of you guys. Not really harsh, but I really had to make sure you guys are doing what you're supposed to do. Would collide, someone calls you at night, someone sends you a video, they are sick, and then maybe they expect you like to be lenient on them the next day and all that. So just because you communicated, it doesn't mean that maybe via the grading I'll be lenient on you. I'm only going to grade you for the times you were here, right? And then maybe on a good note, via this group, I wanted to say this when the head of department is around, but he has entered. We've all really tried to push ourselves, and no one is actually below the pass mark. Yeah? I collided on a number of you guys, especially where I tell you do this, and I really push you like I'm your big brother, your father. I really nag you and all that. But finally, at least I'm very glad that no one is going to get a retake in this workshop practice. I don't know why you're clapping, either just because you expected the retake, but anyway, academically, all of you tried to pull your strings. Of course, the grades are a bit poor for some of you because of your collaboration energy, but just because maybe you tried to show up and do some grading and all that, the discipline was really poor for some of you guys, and we don't do the emphasis on discipline just because it's an academic institute, but some of you are going to roll out in certain enterprises, and you're going to pose as engineers, you're appearing in Crocs, in sandals, and some of you are actually taking it for granted, but not until you lose an opportunity because of maybe your character. So I've done my part. I've really tried to coordinate so that you're in the right path, and maybe you end the session. So it's a good note. You will be receiving the certificates of participation or competence later on. We are supposed to receive them today, but the number of issues that really weren't, that hindered the whole process. Then we're also supposed to recognize those outstanding performers. But maybe as the department, we are going to give the opportunity maybe to the performers, maybe to do some certificates via the Cisco platform, right? You identify maybe an area you want to do, right? Maybe the department will give you some support and you do a certificate. Not for everyone, only for those guys who did outperform themselves, right? So that's the advantage of really being active and all that. But that will all be communicated later. I think my address is done, and maybe you can clap for me. So with us, we have our facilitator, our first facilitator who has come through, Mr. Lewis, at the back. Please.